Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
From St. Louis Public Radio. This is St. Louis on the Air.
I'm Elaine Cha. Isaiah Maxi is like a lot of us. Last year, feeling the weight of isolation that had grown over the pandemic, Isaiah decided it was time to open himself up to something new. So the former Boy Scout laced up and went outside into nature and went looking not just for the splendor of Missouri state parks, but something just as precious, the company of new friends.
Hey guys, out here at Graham Cave State Park. I met some new hiking buddies. If you guys want to say hi.
Hi. Hello.
We're out here just enjoying each other's company, taking on the trails. It's pretty relaxing, a nice day. Gray skies, but it's turning blue, crisp air, and we're just excited to be here. And I'm excited to see where this journey takes us.
That was Isaiah Maxi, who recorded that audio postcard this past weekend at one of the dozens of state parks he's visited in the past year. It's all part of a larger goal that's right there in the name of his Facebook group, The Journey to 100 Hiking Friends. And here to talk about that journey is Isaiah Maxi. Isaiah, welcome.
Thank you.
So pandemic isolation is something that a lot of people have been feeling. Now, before the pandemic, you were no stranger to the outdoors, but because of what was going on with COVID, you found yourself spending a lot of time inside. How did that impact you?
That's a great question. I know for myself, I've been surrounding my career around service, and initially when the pandemic hit, we all worked from home just like everyone else. And it was different. I never really understood how much that human interaction meant to me because I've always been an introverted person, even though I've always worked on teams or I played sports majority of my life. But being away from a lot of people, just being away from home, and I have younger siblings, just not being able to watch them grow up and just visit them as much as I wanted to was a challenge.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of work have you done and do you do now?
I don't know if you're familiar with AmeriCorps.
Of course.
I did 2.5 years of AmeriCorps. I also currently work for the Community Service Commission. So we house all the AmeriCorps grants for the state, but I work on the volunteer side of it. I've also worked at a food bank in San Diego called Feeding San Diego. So it's just been a lot of, public service type organizations, just trying to find a career in service. I'm hoping to continue to work towards national service, but I'm just happy where I am right now, and I'm hoping that with this opportunity, I can continue to make strides to get to where I want to go.
Yeah, I mean, and given that context of how accustomed you were to being around people in your day-to-day is, I think that says a lot about what must have happened when the pandemic hit. Now, the decision to start hiking, I understand, was something for you alone in 2021, 2022. And then in December, actually the day after Christmas, you made a summary post in a Missouri Hikers Facebook group about your year of hiking 31 state parks, which was just one more than your goal of 30. So congratulations there. And you had written in that post that you were mostly on this journey alone, but appreciated those couple people that could join you when they could. And that line really stands out because the reaction from other hikers to that post was anything but, quote, mostly alone. So it seems like your message really resonated with them. What was seeing that reaction like for you, and what happened next?
For me, it just helped me with the whole grounding process to allow myself to know that there are other people that feel similar to myself. I know for me, just finding ways to get outside the norm was huge for me. I mean, I just really appreciate the feedback. A lot of those people that reached out, I've hiked with a few of those people so far. Last weekend, 2 weekends ago, was the first time I hiked with someone that I actually knew.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it was out of the 28 people I've hiked with so far, it's only been 3 people that I've actually knew prior to hiking with them.
Okay.
So it's been an interesting process. I've hiked with people that are veterans, nurses, doctors, college students, high schoolers. I used to be a preschool teacher in college. I got to hike with one of my old preschool students. She's a 4th grader now, and I was just like, I felt so happy because she's still of interest. She still like wanders, and it was just like so cool. She was, Mr. Maxi, come on. And I'm just like trying to go like all the little places she's trying to go. So it's been a fun experience overall, and just being able to go to the different parks has been great. I know some of them tease me because I'll make the hiking event, but I don't like to lead. I'm like, so it's like, I just want to hike with you guys. Like, I just came for the interaction. Like the hiking part is cool. Like, I don't care how far or not far we go. Like, I think the furthest we've gone so far is like 5 miles, but we've also gone, 1 mile.
Okay.
And we just talked, and we just, talked about our lives and the different things. And I've had a mixed group of people that I've hiked with, and it's cool to hear the different advice that they offer. Like, when I was your age, or if I was your age, this was something I would do a little differently. I'm like, I'm the type of person that I like to listen to those things and take what I can, and try to use it in my own life. So it's been awesome. Like, I've had 2 or 3 repeaters that have come like to Tonka, or it's like 2 hours this way, 1 hour that way. I'm just like, hey, if you're as adventurous as I am, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for it.
So how do you then choose the parks that you're going to go to?
It's a little bit of which ones I haven't gone to, and just whatever they request. Some people are like, hey, if you're ever, in the St. Louis area, like, then I just look at the ones near St. Louis. I'm like, okay, Han, let's go. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Quiver River State Park. We got Babbler. We got Robinson's Route 66. So it's all these different state parks around St. Louis. I'm like, I've hiked most of them, but I'm always down to repeat any state park, any park. There's been people inviting me to their like niche
Little spots.
groups, and I'm just
Yeah.
I'm all for it. So it's been a balance of, I look at a map and I just go, and people invite me.
How do you prepare for these trips? And for those who join you, are there some pieces of advice that you give them before you meet up?
I guess for me, it's more of a mental thing for me. Is just trying to be as, I guess, open-minded and transparent on my end. I mean, physical preparation is not really my thing. I just show up. I'm in decent shape, so I'm good on the actual hike aspect of it. But I guess the advice I would have for people that either wanted to hike with our group or hike on their own is just take that step. I know I've had 8 to 10 people private message me like, hey, this is not something normal that I do, yada yada yada. So I'm just like, hey, I mean, this is pretty much what this is for.
Yeah.
This is like whether you're continuing to hike with me or you meet someone else locally, you hike with them, and it's like I'm hoping to continue to connect different groups, or they continue to hike with me as well.
We're talking with Isaiah Maxi, who is the founder of the Facebook group, The Journey to 100 Hiking Friends, where he's documented his hiking trips across Missouri state parks and the new friends he's made along the way. In the hikes that you have done so far, are there any favorite spots for you, like places that you said you're down to go to places that you've been to? Mm-hmm. Are there ones that you want to return to?
Oh, for sure. I've been to Tonka probably 3 or 4 times.
What is it about Tonka that is so appealing to you?
The views are just beautiful. They got a great overlook. They have a variety of hiking spots. It always seems like there's a good crowd of people, and they're always friendly. They're always like someone will probably stop you and have a conversation with you. It's just a friendly environment. I'm a city kid, so there's the commercial aspects to it as well.
Okay.
Like there's some paved, paved.
Okay.
There's a variety of paths to take.
Sure.
I try not to. I had the opportunity to speak at the Most State Parks conference, and they asked me that question. So I try to stay away from who's the best and who's not, because all the supervisors and the managers were at the conference, and they asked that question, and they're all great state parks.
Okay. There are many different bests depending on who you're talking to.
Oh, for sure.
And in the St. Louis area, are there ones that you have really you've enjoyed for a very particular reason?
I probably have some generic answers, like Castlewood. Castlewood is a comfortable place. Mm-hmm. I know as I continue to progress on my comfort level with the outdoors, I know I feel confident in Castlewood. I feel confident at St. Joe.
Yeah.
There's certain areas that, there's like a 6 mile, or I'm like, oof, I could probably go a mile and come back. You know what I mean? So it's more of a, once I continue to go along this journey and get more comfortable with the outdoors, I think I will be able to journey more out, because I want to go to Elephant Rock. A lot of people have. Oh yes, I've heard of that. A lot of people said that's a phenomenal place. So I want to go down to Elephant Rock. It's probably one of my next ones.
So you are originally from the Kansas City area, and you've moved to Jefferson City relatively recently. How long have you?
I actually. My timeline was, I've lived in a bunch of states in the last 5 years, just with AmeriCorps. But before Jeff City, in September of 22, I was living in St. Louis for about a year. But I've lived in Mississippi, Iowa, California.
Wow. Okay.
I've been all over the country.
So is what you're doing now something that you saw people doing in those other places? How did this idea to do this hiking in this way and share it, how did it come to you?
With AmeriCorps, NCCC, the National Civilian Community Corps, you have the opportunity to do a variety of projects. So I've had the opportunity with my team to serve with a variety of state parks, whether it's in Custer, South Dakota. One of my favorites was Vermont, Muck Ross. And I guess the people that we got to interact with were just wholesome people. They come in, we had the opportunity to meet their family, they'll take us on hikes. But for me, I think what really drew me to wanting to hike with people was my AmeriCorps team, because I did AmeriCorps 2020 and 2021. My AmeriCorps team, whenever we call them sad days, whenever we had sad days, we would go out on a trail and we would just enjoy each other's company. We would, one of our rules is we just don't talk about what's going on, whatever's going on. And then whenever we got home, we could talk about whatever was going on. So it was just being out in nature, being out in these different areas, whether it was West Virginia, Mississippi, Alabama. It was a great experience.
Yeah, so there's something very therapeutic about being in nature and selectively silent.
For sure,
right?
For sure.
So you've also been posting photos from the state parks you've been to, not only here, but in other states. How does the experience of these Missouri state parks, how does it compare with what you have seen elsewhere?
I was a sports guy, so I like to think about things in sports, and I feel like we do a very good job of what we have. So we have the forest, we have, some people call them like the Ozarks Mountains. We have those different, a variety of terrain, and we do a good job of displaying them. We do a good job of showing what we have, but allowing it to be inclusive to a variety of people. Like one of the things that the state parks is rolling out is they're accessible chairs. So people that have impairments and they need a chair, you can also use the path. So stuff like that sticks out to me, and it makes me proud to be able to use those parks, because they're being mindful of the people that's using those parks. I don't know if you're familiar with the different terms. Like you can call someone if there's something on the path, and within a day, most of the time it's removed.
They come and clear it.
Right. So stuff like that is just like it's just user friendly.
Yeah. As someone who's not a St. Louis native or from Missouri, I've definitely noticed the same, that there's so much time and attention and care that goes into these parks. It's really fantastic. Have you met people who are not only not from St. Louis, but not from Missouri, who are using these hikes as a way to integrate into their new communities?
That's a great question. I know the father and the daughter that I hiked with this past weekend. He's originally from Alabama, and he was telling me how he's been to all 92 historical sites and state parks in Missouri, and he was telling me the difference between here in Alabama and like, I don't know about other people, but when people have a passion or people speak with passion, it gets me excited. It gets me hyped up. So when he was speaking about those things, I'm like, okay, I need to step my game up. I need to, I need to go down to here to here. But he's like, just hearing that passion of he was like trying to compare different places, because he's traveled all across the country going to different places. He was like talking about how Utah's like this, but Missouri's like this. And it's like giving me a perspective, because I know for me, like I value the little things. I value like, the different signs, like, hey, I almost forgot to put my tick spray on. Let me put my tick spray on. Like, you know what I mean? The little things like that. So I think that that experience with him and a variety of other people just really allows me to, see it through a different lens.
So if someone wants to come and join, they're thinking about it, hesitating a little bit, what would you say to encourage them to come along?
I get it. It's not easy to get out to interact with people. My suggestion is, just try it. Just try it once, and if it isn't for you, that's okay. But at least you tried. At least you had that experience. I know for me, it's always been hard for me to reach out, and I've made that conscious decision to say yes to a lot of things, just to push me out of my comfort zone, to help me grow. I would love to hear your story, and I would love the opportunity to hike with you if you're interested.
Isaiah Maxi is the founder of the Journey to 100 Hiking Friends, the Facebook group where he's documented his hiking trips across Missouri's state parks, and this year, the new friends he's making along the way. Isaiah, thank you so much for making the hike to our studio and for sharing with us about this experience.
Thank you so much for having me.
This episode was produced by Danny Wissentowski.
Audio engineering and podcast design by Aaron Dorr. Our executive producer is Alex Hoyer.
St. Louis on the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio. Understanding starts here.
Our podcast proudly supports St. Louis artists by using music from Life Creative Group.
Do you find yourself regularly listening to episodes of St. Louis on the Air? Suggest us to a friend you think might enjoy our conversations, and leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts on the App Store. It's the simplest way to help people discover our show. Thank you.
St. Louis Public Radio is a member-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.